Welcome, everyone. Uh, I guess we need, what was that number at? Agenda.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Uh, we have a motion to, consent to the agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we don't have the guns on yet. Okay, so, what is the first thing on our agenda? Is it?
My contract.
All right, Shannon's contract. So, Tammy.
So based on Sherry and I in the negotiations with the teachers, the STARS Act is designated for teachers, and admin and the clerk. So we propose increasing Shannon's pay accordingly to her portion of that money, and aligning her schedule to a 4-day. She will still do summer like she always does. Stuff has to happen all summer, but aligning her schedule to the 4-day, just like the rest of the staff. I don't know what that does.
And I also reminded her that she had asked for a cell phone stipend, which our principal and office manager also received. So we added that as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
I forgot about that. And there may be days that the teachers come in on their Fridays when they're doing stuff, and the admin comes in that day, Shannon, they do stuff as well. She's always been generous with her time. So.
Can you say that again, Cami? I missed that. She may come in on when?
On if there's the
PIR days.
yeah.
Okay, got
like
it.
on Monday when they do the PIR days or whatever, and
Mhm.
Shannon has always been generous with her time and will come and do and handle whatever has to happen. But I think her contract needs to align with what the rest of the staff is expected of.
Right.
So that's what Sherry and I discussed.
So just so you know, that how I got, Sherry, were you on here when I said how I got to that total?
No.
So I took the 4 days a week times how many weeks are in a year. And then I subtracted the federal holidays to come up with 201 contract days.
Okay.
And then as Cami said, if things need to get done and I need to come in on a Monday, I'm just going to do that. I mean, because I've never 4-day week before. I don't know if I can do my full job in that 4 days, but.
And I feel like especially the first year, because your job isn't curriculum or student hour related, we kind of have to see, see what happens.
And I'm just curious, Shannon, I don't know if we've discussed this. Will your length of work day be the same now as like the teacher's day, or will it be shorter on those 4 days?
It already is the same.
Okay.
So, because the teacher's work day
Is the same.
is the same. Their contract time is the same. They're just having more instructional hours in those days. So our time in, time out is exactly the same.
Okay, so you'll kind of just match up with their time-ish. Okay, got it.
Okay, is there anything else on to Shannon's contract that?
Shannon, is there anything else you wanted to bring up or occurred to you? Are you good with this or?
Yeah, this is good. I did take out the 4 personal days out of the contract. Because with 1 day off a week, we don't pay personal days. We talked about that during negotiations. That's what we're going down.
Mhm.
So for the classified staff.
So then, just to recap for the teachers, they were at the 16. We offered to raise their leave bank in lieu of going down to the 12, so they would lose 4 personal days. So my is just, Sherry and I haven't even talked about this. If we end up negotiating and they go down to 13 or 14 or whatever it is, I think yours should match that.
So the difference is I accrue vacation and sick time by how many hours I work. So where they don't. So
So
regardless.
it's a different,
So it's totally.
totally
Yeah.
different
All
formula.
lots of my people, it's totally different how it accrues.
Okay,
It's federally mandated how our
okay,
vacation
gotcha,
and sick time. So we get vacation, they don't.
gotcha,
They only get sick and personal or now discretionary.
gotcha.
So we get vacation hours, so I don't need those personal hours. That's me.
Okay.
So yes, I removed those. It just makes. It's more fiscally responsible, yeah.
Okay, so is there any other changes then to the contract? That's it?
That's it.
Okay, I will make a motion that we accept Shannon's contract as written.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Next contract.
We just made a motion for all of them.
No, we just made a motion for Shannon's.
Yeah, the
contract.
next one up is, it's totally separate item.
Yeah, totally separate. Everything is separate.
Can we talk about dollar amounts in an open?
It's public.
Yep, everything.
Yep.
I just couldn't remember, we went back. So with your contract, you thought it was 210 days, so this is actually gonna look really nice to you. It's actually 203 days. And you had proposed, a daily rate equal, to, I think it was 453 a day. What we are recommending is your contract days go down to 178 days. So that's 10 days prior, 10 days after school ends. And again, that's, correct me if I'm wrong, Sherry, but we talked about that being flex, like if you needed to do more at a different time when there's people here so that they're not asking Shannon all the questions. And then with your portion of the stars, it raises your salary to $80,023, which would make your daily rate of 178 calendar days, 449.57. Okay, so we're close to what you asked for, but you don't have to work as much.
Would there be any, so right now, the teacher daily rate went with, so the top 4 teachers make 71,532, which is, if you take that pay without the STARS Act, without the addition of the STARS Act,
Okay.
that they make this year, if you took their daily rate they made this year and apply it to that 158-day schedule that we'll have next year, they'll make $453.05 a day without the addition of the STARS Act. So they will, if their daily rate stayed the same, if I took their daily rate without the STARS Act and multiplied it by that 178, they would still make $600 and something more than I do. And that's without the addition of the STARS Act that they're getting. So I know that money is not readily accessible right now, but I would like at least, if not this year, next year, to heading to where I'm at least making what the top 4 teachers make, because right now I'm making less than they do. So I'd like to at least start heading in that direction. I just think that's fair.
Gotcha.
I don't need to make astronomically more, but it's something similar would be nice.
So when you say you're making less, you mean daily?
Daily rate, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and I guess I'm not sure how other schools do this, with the daily rate versus the, just making sure that the admin is at a higher salary base, right? Some of that, we had some discussion about that, and we talked about, yes, you're an administrator, so that position should be making more than teachers. However, a lot of them have a lot more years of experience in the career, you know what I mean? So that also has to maybe play in a little bit as far as daily rate. And also, I don't know, maybe you disagree with this, but I feel like those days that you work beyond the school year, they aren't quite as, um, I don't know how to put it, like demanding maybe because you have time, kind of quiet time to do administrative tasks and things like that. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like those days require the same daily rate, or could there be wiggle room on those? Or I'm just trying to have a discussion about it. I'm not
Yeah.
like set. Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's still a day I'm not with my family that I'm
Hmm.
working for the school. So, like just like there's some days like when I'm working on accreditation that it is, pedal to the metal all day. I don't eat lunch. I'm constantly just trying to get it done. And then there's other days where I don't have that task, so I get to go and be with the kids and be in the classroom. So there's variation even in just a regular school year. So
Hmm.
by that standard, I get paid less for the days that I'm not going pedal to the metal. So I feel like those are still days I'm here and I'm working and I'm not able to, I don't know. I don't know. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying like we have to meet the daily rate of the teacher this year, but it is something, I mean, we can't compete with what people in the valley are doing, but it is important, I think, that we know that Kyle is getting paid 95 next year. And there's 9 positions open or were open. They've been filled in the valley, and the lowest is getting paid 80 of the ones that are open. They're new this year. And I just don't want to fall so far behind that we'll never be able to make up the deficit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do know what you mean. Are those, I'm just curious, the rates that you were talking about, are those similar days, like number of days in their contract? Or are
Um,
they more like the 210-ish?
yeah, they're similar days, like West Valley, or excuse me, Smith, I still do that. Smith Valley, she marks a significant, like 10 more days, like 220 something,
Yeah.
230 something, but she gets paid less. Before we went to the 4 day, Kyla, FME, Cayuse, or no, not Kyla, Kyla, FME, Deer Park, and Creston, they all were similar numbers. Now, of course, they've gone to 4 day, but so FME and Cayuse are 4 day. Cayuse has more people, so that's kind of a hard thing. But
Mhm.
FME is similar, and they're 4 day, and she'll be making. I can't remember if hers was 90 or 85.
The new
Okay.
I use one. How many years experience does she have?
We started the same year, both FME and Preston. Neither of them were admin before they came. We started the same year. We were in the same mentorship group.
So wait a minute, isn't FME, is that Brandy?
Yes, she worked as a teacher leader in California, but she
Right.
wasn't an administrator. She
Okay.
started as admin in Montana the same year that I
Gotcha.
did.
Okay, I thought she had been an
But she
admin
has
like
leadership
quite a
experience.
while.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Okay.
just not, similar, probably.
Right. But overall years of service and
Yeah,
education like had
yeah,
been, yeah.
yeah.
And then Shannon, do you know, would you be able to look up or calculate real quick? I hate to put you on the spot, but with our new salary schedule or our new, yeah, salary schedule, do you know what the daily rate would be for our bottom right corner for teachers this coming year?
For the top teachers,
So for the
Yeah.
top teachers, they don't, the stars, right? But without the stars, their daily rate next year would be 453.05.
Okay, and what we just proposed was what for yours?
by,
449,
For how many days is this teacher's next year?
158.
474.80.
Okay.
Um,
And they have 158 days in their contract?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. I was just kind of playing around with the You know, if we could match the daily rate for the 158 days and then do, you know, a proportional difference for the admin days. I don't know.
What did I tell you the rate was? Or 74.80
$74.80.
After stars.
We're 74.80.
But Julie's is $25.24 less a day.
Right. But it makes a difference of about $4,000-ish if we did all the days. 158 days times 474.80 is 75,018. And then she's got an additional 20 days.
So I'll tell you my opinion on the whole thing. I think you're phenomenal. And I think you've learned so much in the time you've been here. I would love to pay you $100 million a year, as well as everybody else in this building. I try to do this with my kids to not play the comparison game, but I totally get it on your side. I totally get that part of it. But I feel like it's almost comparing apples to oranges. Mainly for me, because I feel like the teachers that have hit that top tier have put in just flat out time.
Mhm.
Just the time and the commitment in the school. Not saying that you haven't put time in the commitment, because I see that. But I don't like the compare game.
Mhm.
That part I don't like. But that I don't, it's hard for me to do that. Let's make sure we're meeting these people on this tier, because then what if all 4 of those people retire? Then you're above and beyond the others, which is fine, but I don't want to do the comparison.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion. I know people disagree with me, so that's okay.
No, that's all right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
What are your thoughts, Lily?
Um, I would like to see a bigger gap, between the administrator and the top teachers. But we gotta do it if we have the funds, and that's kind of where it's down. And I don't know how much more we're going to be able to save out of anything from teachers negotiating, if, we're cutting back this or that or something else, if that's gonna give us any more money.
When does her contract have to be signed?
So can we sort of split the difference a little bit here? Come a little closer?
What was,
It just says her contract is July 1st through June 30th.
Okay, so we have another month.
so at the 80,023, what was her contract, annual last year?
Oh.
Annual salary,
78.
78 even? Not bad, not bad.
Divided by how many days? 203. It's 384.20.
Because I went 70, then 75, and I took the same percentage as the teachers got last year, not just the percent raise, not their steps and lanes. So they got like a 4 to a 5, depending on which person it was, and I got a 3.
So 78, and what did we decide the contract days actually were? It was like
203.
203. I was looking at my
So
My
her
contract
rate
before.
this year is 384.24.
Right.
So because we lessened her contract, your daily rate compared to this year,
Goes up quite a bit. Yeah.
65 and change a day.
Right. It's 383. Yeah, 65.76 per day. Well, do we want to try to take some more time to, um, create the rest of our budget and come back with a
Can
different?
we, can, would you guys be willing to meet the daily rate that the teachers would get 4 stars? So that would be, my contract would be 80,642. Or for math sake,
So 453.05.
yeah. So it's $600.
453.05 times 178.
Mhm.
Can you just say that dollar amount again?
To be 80,637.56.
I get 80,642.90.
That's,
So
yeah, it's
anyway,
right.
somewhere in there.
80,642.90.
453.02 a day.
453.05.
Oh, see, that's
So
what I'm.
say it again, 86.42.
80642.9. And we don't even have to make it crazy. It can just be 8640. Like 80,640. I'm bad with saying numbers out loud. Sorry.
I mean, that's not that far off of what we were offering tonight, right?
Right.
Because that is really what we were trying to do, Julia, is get you as close as possible to that daily rate, but also seriously decrease your days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Um,
Oh,
I'm okay with that personally.
outside of this, or
No, no.
could just
we-
say yes.
That's what it's all about. We
It's
can
kind of a negotiation
have to ask the money
right
first.
now.
just have to make sure that we can come up with that.
So the money STARS Act calculation that we got on that little spreadsheet that how much they said we were going to get, we got almost $4,000 less.
How come we got less?
That's just, that spreadsheet it's brand new. OPI created it. And I don't know.
Tell them they can sit this.
Because it's based on our FTE for this year, which is 14.05.
Right.
Plus me, which is 15.05. If their spreadsheet didn't calculate it correctly, so it's like $3,777 less than what we were anticipating.
So did the teachers' contracts go out with the 4,000 we thought we were getting?
They're all out and back.
Yeah, they've already signed them.
So that just takes our contingency money down to 20,000 instead of 24. Hopefully, I mean, the title money, we can't count on the title money. You're supposed to use that to supplement your budget, not to supplant your budget. But we all know that we take people's salaries and put it towards title.
Right.
So the title grant isn't even until August,
Yeah.
September. We don't know how much money that is.
Yeah. Oh no, August 8th, 6th, 8th, whatever that date
Yeah.
was. How
But
much
that's
money?
past our budget deadline anyway, so we just have to. Part of me is like, okay, you're not supposed to count on it, but we know we count on it for certain things.
Right.
So,
And like, we talked about with teachers, if this is what they want to be the priority, then we sharpen our pencils and we cut down some other things.
But it can't be anything that already has a contract signed.
right, it would have
Right.
to be programming,
Right,
programs, or
programs or
something.
fluff.
Yeah.
Sports stuff or,
Yep.
some of those extra things that, we even talked as much as, limiting hires of paraprofessionals, like to the minimum amount we would have to have rather than a little extra for extra help, right? Those kinds of things, like just being very bare bones about what we can do with our numbers, what we can justify, and that's it,
Yep.
It really sucks that we didn't get that number before the contracts.
Yes, it does.
Right,
Yes, it does.
Like,
they actually gave it to us early because it's due June 1st.
like, thank you to them. Thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, the difference between one and the other for Julia's contract. What it was, like $600.
Right.
We'll make it work.
One extra bingo every.
Yeah, there you go.
Extra bingo.
So what does that change it to? Again, so we can change.
I'd just do 806 for,
It's
isn't it?
80,642.90 is the exact number, but we can round if you want.
Yeah,
You just want me to put 80,640.
you can have $2.90.
To the means.
It's okay.
The other thing that we left blank on there is the discretionary days, because yours aligns with the MU and they haven't settled on that yet, so we'll have to handwrite that.
That's fine.
But
I'm
we see them
super
on
concerned.
Monday, so.
As long as you don't say 0, I'll be fine.
Right.
Please give me some.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
have your professional days, 6
Yeah.
professional days as well.
Yeah.
So we kind of, we saw your request for the including the BPE days or whatever. We kind of just didn't want something like that tied into your contract because it's sort of
Yeah.
a separate deal, right? So
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to
I know.
get a
Rationalize it, yeah.
get like a so if you guys were like, no, we want to keep you at 210 or whatever, and I wanted
Right.
to get paid the teacher rate, there'd be no way in absolute heck that would ever be able to be afforded. That's ridiculous. So I was like, so then I need to go down on days. So we were trying to figure out ways. What are creative ways I can go way down on days? So technically I'm still making the same daily rate,
Right.
but you know, there's a give. And so then Sherry called me after me and Shannon did all of this head work. She's like, well, why don't we just lower your days at the end of the year? And I was like, oh, I'm dumb. I didn't even think about that.
Well, I think what happened, Julia, is it honestly, and I think you and I talked about it, but just kind of for the record, is as we decreased student instruction days, pupil PI days over the years, those admin days stayed the same.
Yeah. Yeah, my
And
first
they
contract
really,
was
that doesn't
10.
make sense. They just kept staying at the 210 or the 2, whatever
Yeah.
it was, and they should have been adjusted accordingly to
Yeah.
the actual calendar, right?
No, I
So-
definitely like the discovery that it's 203 this year because I was like,
Woo-hoo, I just got 7
Right.
days.
I also see another thing I have to change. It says that your 11th and 12th installments will be paid on the last day preceding summer vacation.
yep,
Yeah, I have to change it to the 10th of June
Yeah.
preceding summer vacation.
Perfect.
Because Paydays are set, right? Can't just pay them whenever we get out of school.
Hey, Rob. Hi, Christian. Welcome. We're almost done.
I thought it was 6.
5:30.
5:30. That's
Oh,
okay.
crud. I put it in my calendar wrong.
Okay. That's okay.
We figured it out with that.
Okay. So I will reprint this.
Do we want to recap that for the gentleman who just joined so they know?
So
Okay.
we're doing Shannon's contract, adjusting it to a 4-day as well with the understanding that Shannon's work day isn't tied to student hours being here. So her contract, days per week will match what the rest of the school does, but she'll still work through the summer, obviously. And this first year's kind of like the honeymoon period. We're kind of figuring it out. If she can get everything done in those 4 days, if she needs more days, we'll talk about that next year, mid-year, whatever we got to do. Shannon's always willing to do what it takes to get it done. Her rate this year will be her portion of the 66% of the STARS Act. And the principal and Julia and Teresa get, I thought she gets a cell phone stipend.
Shannon, Julia and Becky.
Julia and Becky, sorry, my fault.
Oh, I did
lots
say
of-
Teresa. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yep.
It's
I
Becky.
thought she did though, no? I
Mm-mm.
think we tried to get to her and she said no.
With the new Insta sub thing, she doesn't.
She doesn't have to, gotcha,
She didn't
okay.
need it, Yeah.
So then the cell phone stipend would be in there for Shannon as well. And then for Julia's contract, she had requested what the daily teacher rate is right now before the STARS Act, $453.05 for a daily rate. Her contract was $203. This year, what Sherry and I and Shannon discussed was lowering her contract days to be 178, which is 10 days prior to school starting and 10 days after. And with her portion of the STARS Act, that would have taken her to 449.57 a day. And she has asked us if we could match the teacher daily rate prior to STARS, which would put her, instead of 80,023, it would put her at 8640. So we're going to go ahead with that.
It's like $4 more per day to match last year's daily rate for teachers.
Yeah.
So it would be another 4,000 to get up to what our bottom right corner teachers are going to make this coming year with STARS. So we're not up to that, but we're just coming a little like $600 closer. So
do you guys have any input on that?
and then Shannon's one more thing. Sorry, I don't want to forget. We with teachers, we're still negotiating the number of discretionary days because of the shortened, work year, and then wanting them to be able to bank up to more days so that they can save more for when they retire or leave and get paid out more. So we're kind of still in negotiations. Wherever we land on that number, we'll match that for Julia's contract as well, because that is a place that it matches. We try to match the admin with the MEO contract. So that's blank right now. Whether we go from 16 down to 12 or 16 down to 14 or wherever we end up landing on that, and the number of days that can be paid into. And then Shannon took those 4 personal days that the teachers used to have out of her contract because she already gets paid time off, built as it builds up. So it's kind of a whole different formula. So she's removed those just on her own and doesn't think she needs personal days in her contract. So.
Guys have any questions?
Just one, just for my own knowledge. Does the principal always have to make more than the staff? Like, what's industry standard there? And I know big schools, I'm sure they would, but small schools where.
Yeah. So.
And I'm not talking Julia. Like, if she decides to leave, and somebody else comes in, do we have to bring them in at above our?
Yeah. So typically you do try to start the administrator at higher than the highest paid teacher. It's not always much. It's sometimes just right there. And then like Cammie and I were talking about, sometimes those teachers have had a lot of years of service, and your principal overall in their career, and your principal might be kind of newer to the education field and not have a lot of teaching experience. So that kind of weighs in, or admin experience, leadership, whatever. But yeah, it is pretty much industry standard to, I don't know if we've ever talked daily rate per se, but salary, yes, being higher. And Julia actually gave us some nearby schools starting salaries, including Kyla, who's starting at 80 with a brand new person
90
coming in,
90, 95.
Kyla is starting at 95?
Well, because yes. So Liz
you
in
said
England
80.
is coming back.
Oh,
So they're
never mind. That's not brand new then. She had a lot of years of experience.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I talked to Cheryl Allen on the phone, and she said typically they want to be paid the same as the top paid teacher, and they normally try to encourage principals or superintendents to get paid $1 more.
Okay.
That's like this, they don't want it to be outlandish.
Minimum. Yeah.
But they said more typically they'll say, I want $1 more a day than the teachers get.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I remember touching on it last year, but I couldn't remember what we had talked about. So thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Any other questions, guys?
No, sorry I'm late. Thank you for recapping though. It sounds
Oh,
good to me.
okay. Yeah.
Good.
So we
Christian,
just
do you have
we just had to
any
get
questions?
the salary parts nailed down now, Is Christian still there?
He is, he's over there.
Yep, I'm here.
He's here.
Yeah. he's here.
Hi. Thanks for recapping that. Oh, gotcha.
Okay, well, if there's no more discussion, then
Good.
we need a motion to accept Julia's contract.
I will move to accept Julia's contract as written.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Done deal. We'll make.
And we
the-
already did Shannon's before you guys jumped on, so yeah. Well,
Okay, I think-
congratulations. You're stuck with us another year, ladies.
Yay.
Oh no.
If you
What have
sign
I
the
done?
contract. That is.
Okay, is there anything else that anybody needs to say or,
Our meeting in June, just kind of put in the back of your mind to think about possibly changing our board meeting date from Monday to a different day of the week when staff is on site.
Oh,
Huh?
good point.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
If I'm not there for some reason, not Wednesday, please.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wednesdays are a bad
Alright.
night.
That's good to know, not Wednesdays.
And actually, my Thursdays could get kind of long next
Tuesdays.
year too.
Tuesdays.
So I think Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Tuesday might be the day, so we might do that on
Yeah.
June. Just
Will
pick,
coincide the PTO. meeting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that,
Okay.
will mesh with everything else. Good
Christian,
stuff.
I know Wednesdays are not good for you either, right? Is that correct?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
that
Yeah.
the church tonight? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge- Okay, is that it?
Curious about budget. Like, when do we, I know it's not as early as it used to be. When do we have to have budget completed?
By August 10th.
Okay.
No worries. I will.
Okay. And we've gone away from doing like the preliminary budget one month and then the final the next month. We just do it, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's more valuable use of your time.
Okay. Oh, and Rob, the other thing that they didn't, maybe you didn't hear, I don't think you and Christian, the number we actually got for stars ended up being less than the original spreadsheet we were given. So we've got like 4,000 less in our buffer,
Okay.
than we thought because we already did contracts. So Yeah.
Lovely.
yep. But it's okay. We'll just sharpen our
We probably
pencils
got
and
more than 66%.
work on budget.
Sherry, when do you and I or anybody else have to have that language for the cameras for MEO?
So I just sent what you and I came up with.
Okay.
I took what you and I talked about in their original draft and our discussions. I'll send it to you, but Monday is when we meet. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that they're going to take it back to.
Michelle was gonna try and get it to the MEO before we meet on
Perfect.
Monday.
Yeah, I can text it to you, Rob, and if you have
Cool.
any last minute things, I can
Okay, thanks.
clean it up. But I think we did a good job of getting it concise and
I thought it looked good. Thank
clear.
you.
So yeah,
Okay, that it?
think so.
Okay, Rob,
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Aye.
Bye.